company. Kasi 'di ba alam natin na 'pag HR tayo, marami tayong we wear different hats. And one of those hats that we wear as an HR professional is we are the de facto not lawyer but more of a uh, guidance counselor and we can say that we are a person who mitigate risk and handle labor issues in behalf of the organization.
Yes, this afternoon talagang maraming matututunan tayo, Ma'am Julene. Si
I
Sir
think Coach Darwin, yeah, I think Coach Darwin and Miss Neddy, there are attendees in our webinars no, of HR Calabarzon who are not necessarily HR practitioners, but they're
Yes, ma'am.
here because they want to learn, perhaps because some would like to put up their own business, or you know what we call, you know, if you're not necessarily an entrepreneur but you're an intrapreneur, no, you're within the company but you would like to grow into how to handle people because you eventually, or if you're within the company, you also would like to learn that skill or have that knowledge so you could, yeah, not just mitigate risk, but how are you going to be with the people within the company. So, and I think that's whatever, all the learnings that we're going to receive from Coach Darwin is quite not useful, but very essential also. Very
Yes.
essential. And if we're going to take a look at it from a family point of view, like mothers, HR are like moms in the company, multitasking. And she's the one handling the relationships mostly. So I hope I gonna have that right as an HR, as HR people are like mothers. No, they have to have that kind of relationship sense, no, a sense of relationship with the people. So without further ado, yes, Miss Nandi, you still have
Yes,
any
ma'am. Gusto ko lang sabihin sa lahat ng nanonood na very pressured ako ngayong hapon na to dahil kasama ko ulit si Sir Darwin, di ba? Sir Darwin, it's been ilang taon na ba tayong hindi nagkikita? At nami-miss ko na ang iyong lecture sa aming mga HR volunteers ng Philippine HR Group. Pero Sir Darwin, para po sa kaalaman ng lahat, ngayon po ay meron na tayong 249 participant dito po sa loob ng Zoom at syempre meron pa pong mga waiting at nanonood sa atin. Pero para hindi na po sila mainip, Sir Darwin, Ma'am Julene, okay lang po ba Sir Darwin to share your screen?
Yes, please. Am I not sharing it yet? Sandali lang ha.
Wala pa po.
Sige.
Yan. Ma'am Julene, alam mo ba bilang isang HR practitioner, dapat yata talaga ang unang-unang natututunan namin ay ang HR Labor 101. Kasi po, ang dami kasing mga concerns ng mga employee na dapat alam ng isang HR. Tama po ba ako doon, Sir Darwin?
Yes, tama
Yes.
ka po kayo.
True, and yeah, yes, Coach.
Yes, ang pag-aaralan natin ngayon ay papaano nga ba ang isang empleyado o isang HR professional, isang businessman, paano sila magkakaroon ng mas malalim na pag-unawa kung papaano i-handle ang isang posibleng labor issues or labor case sa kanilang organization. Ang pinakalayunin kasi natin dito is papaano natin ay iwasan ang mga labor cases. Papaano tayo makakapag-mitigate ng risk. Okay? So first and foremost sa lahat po ng mga nakikinig sa akin ngayon, alam ko po na habang nag-lecture po, habang nagbabahagi po tayo ng kaalaman ay marami po kayong tanong. Lahat po ng tanong natin, kung po pwede, mamaya po natin sasagutin sa end po ng ating presentation. Also, inulit ko po, sana po ay i-mute po natin ang ating mga audio para po yung mga taong nasa loob po ng room ay nakatutok po sa presentation. Okay po? So again, my name is Coach Darwin Rivers, and I will be discussing to you today employee and labor relations one-on-one. Be mindful though that this particular training program would normally take me a whole day, 8 hours for me to be able to provide the necessary skills and competence to my staff for them to be fully equipped in labor relations. But today I was only given 1.5 hours to have this discussion. So meron pong may mga slides ako inalis. Ito po yung mga jurisprudence o yung mga sample po ng mga kaso. Pero nakatutok po kasi tayo again, ano po ba yung dapat nyong malaman? Yung mga basic nating dapat malaman sa labor relations and employee relations. Okay? So let's go move forward. Ito po yung mga topic natin for today. Aadmin po natin ano po ba yung touch points ng employee and labor relations in the whole employee life cycle. Kasi alam po natin na i-identify po natin saan po ba sa employee life cycle nagkakaroon ng mas madalas na pagsasampa ng kaso laban sa kumpanya o saan po ba sa employee life cycle nagkakaroon ng mas maraming issue or concern ng mga empleyado. Also, i-discuss po natin ang Philippine Labor Code, i-discuss po natin ang legal framework of labor relations in the Philippines, kasama po dyan of course, ang due process. Naayon po sa due process, i-discuss po natin ano ba yung tinatawag nating substantive due process and procedural due process. We'll also be discussing about what are the standards for a valid and lawful termination. You have to be mindful that even though it's management prerogative to hire and fire an employee, employees can still file labor cases against the company, and the power of termination will be scrutinized by the labor courts. So we need to make sure that we follow the right process because ayaw po nating ma-technical, ayaw po natin na masabihan na mali po ang ginagawa natin procedure. So pag-uusapan po natin yung lawful termination, naayon po dyan ng authorized causes at just causes. Pag-uusapan din po natin ang separation pay and full and final pay. Also, part of the discussions for the day, ano po ba yung mga types of problem employees? We'll also be discussing about impact ng legal termination. Ano ba yung pag natalo po ba tayo dahil hindi natin na-mitigate yung risk? Ano yung mga po pwede mangyari sa atin at sa ating kumpanya? Pag-uusapan natin ang salaries and reinstatement, ano ang mga different kinds of damages na po pwedeng isampa sa atin, what are the solidarity liability. Also, pag-uusapan din natin yung tinatawag nilang burden of proof. Bakit ba kailangan, nasa kanino ba ang burden of proof? Sa employee po ba or sa employer? Pag-uusapan din po natin ano po yung mga documentations na kailangan nating matutukan at kailangan meron tayo para ma-make sure that we are fully protected against all labor issues or labor cases. We'll also be discussing about the essence of discipline, and very important, this is very important for our HR professionals because for us to be able to mitigate any risk, for us to be able to lower any possible labor issues or concerns in our company, in our organization, we have to create a disciplined workforce. We also have to ensure how we are able to coach and lead the workplace in terms of discipline. Okay? So, pwede na po ba kayong magsimula? So, let's start our journey. Fast facts lang po tayo ngayon. Gusto ko lang pong simulan ang lecture na ito sa fast facts. I-highlight ko po dito kasi alam natin na isa sa pinaka magastos na po pwedeng pagkagastosan ng kumpanya ay ang pagkakaroon ng labor case. And in 2020, sa gitna po ng pandemic, nagkaroon po ng more than 4,351 cases. You have to understand, nasa gitna po yan na pandemic. Bumaba po talaga ang mga nag-file ng cases noong 2020. Ngunit, within that year, ang monetary benefits for employees ay umabot sa 724 million. Ganun po kalaki ang nabayaran ng mga kumpanya para po sa mga workers nila kasi natalo po sila sa labor cases. Be mindful though that prior pandemic, prior 2020, the monetary claims of labor cases, and this I am very well aware of kasi as early as 2010, talagang suki na po ako sa NLRC. Marami po tayong mga kaibigan sa NLRC at sa DOLE na guest po natin sa ating mga seminars and workshops under the Philippines HR Group. Alam niyo po ba na year on year prior pandemic, umaabot po ng anywhere between 1.5 billion to 2 billion pesos ang halaga ng mga kaso sa Pilipinas because of labor issues. Gusto ko lang pong i-highlight dito na napakalaking gastos para sa kumpanya kung hindi nila pagtutuunan ng pansin ang pagsasaayos ng kanilang mga labor issues and labor cases. Kaya nga po, kailangan i-train ang mga tao ninyo, lalo na po ang mga tao sa HR, kung paano mag-handle ng mga labor issues. Okay? Next is full disclosure po tayo bago po tayo magsimula. Unang-una po is, hindi po ako lawyer. Frustrated lawyer po ako. Hindi po ako nakapagtapos ng abogasya. Ako po kasi ay breadwinner ng aming family and I did not have time to pursue my dream as a lawyer. I'm a certified life coach. I am a certified life coach from the US, and also I am a human resource professional for over 20 years. May educational background po. Ako po ay nagtapos ng sociology sa Polytechnic University of the Philippines, and I took up industrial relations and human resource sa Universidad ng Pilipinas. Hindi po ako nag-claim na ako po ay expert sa labor law. Naniniwala po ako na even though meron po akong more than 20 years of being an HR professional, mitigating conflicts and handling labor issues, naniniwala po ako na ako po mismo, like hindi po ako lawyer, marami po ako natutunan sa araw-araw. And lastly, I've always tell this to the class. I always believe that no one has a monopoly of knowledge. So every time that someone would say na alam ko na yan lahat, yung pong tao na nagsabi nun, wala po siyang alam or konti lang ang alam niya. Kasi there's no such thing as alam mo na ang lahat. Kasi every day, natututo po tayo. Okay? So, let's start with a exam. Naku, sabihin naman ng mga tao, si Sir naman, hindi pa nga nagsa-start ng discussion niya sa labor law, may pa-exam. Sige, ganito po gawin natin. Para po sa mga HR professional, ha? Gusto ko po, i-identify niyo po kung yung mga makikita niyo sa screen ay myth or truth in terms of labor. Okay? Identify niyo po kung myth or truth. Okay? Number 1, during the recruitment process, kailangan po ba na i-declare ng isang babae na siya ay buntis? During the recruitment process, women have legal duty to reveal they are pregnant. Is it a myth or is it a fact? Okay, yun lang po.
Ang bilis, sir.
Identify,
Ang daming sumasagot. Hindi ko na mabilang kung ilan.
identify if it's a
Tuloy-tuloy
myth
siya,
or a
truth.
fact. Okay? Number 2.
Sir, puro truth and
Number 2. A contract of employment must be in written form to be legally valid. Ito po ba ay myth or isang fact? Okay? Ulitin po natin, kailangan po ba na mayroong kontratang pinanghahawakan ng isang tao para masabi na siya ay legal na empleyado ng isang kumpanya? Okay? Myth or fact? Number
Hati.
3, probationary employees who are terminated via just causes are not eligible for separation pay. Kung follower po kayo ng blog ko, meron po akong blog na sinusulat. Actually, kababalik ko lang sa pagsusulat ng blog. Na-inspire po kasi akong sumulat uli ni Tina Coang, yung aking co-anchor sa HR Cafe, na napakasikat ngayon sa kanyang blog, tinainmanila.com. But prior to her, years back, na nagsisimula po ako sa HR, I created a blog na naging parang review ng mga HR professionals or basis ng mga HR professionals. hrguru.wordpress.com. Yung pinaka-recent ko pong sinulat is about probationary employees. Are they entitled for separation pay? Is it a myth or a fact? Now, number 4, pag nagtatanggal po tayo ng empleyado because of authorized causes like redundancy, totoo po ba na ang rule is last in, first out? Totoo po ba na pag nagtatanggal po tayo ng empleyado, ang rule ay last in, first out? Next is, you must always suspend using preventive suspension an employee if they are being investigated for an allegation of misconduct. So, totoo po ba na dapat pag may kaso sa employee, pag may hinihiring tayo na kaso sa employee, pwede nating i-suspend sa employee habang tumatakbo yung kaso sa kumpanya? Ito po ba ay myth or a fact? Next po is, ang reply po ba ng NTE ay dapat within 48 hours? At dapat within 48 hours din, nabibigay nyo na yung notice of decision or NOD. Is it a myth or a fact? Number 7, a criminal case committed outside the workplace can still be grounds for termination. Ulitin po natin, ang isang kaso kriminal na nagawa ng empleyado sa labas ng kanyang workplace, pwede po ba ito maging grounds for termination? Myth or fact? Number 8, the company has the right to suppress labor unions. The company has the right to suppress labor unions. Is this a myth or a fact? Number 9, only labor lawyers should handle any and all labor-related cases in the company. Itin po natin, tanging abogado lamang po ang pwedeng mag-handle ng mga legal na kaso na nangyayari sa loob ng kumpanya. Is it a myth or a fact? Ito panghuli, yung results po ba ng admin hearing, nabigay nyo na yung notice of decision sa empleyado, o pwede po ba itong i-share sa kahit kanino within the organization? Is it a myth or a fact? Okay? Now, can you please tell us in the chat box, ilan po ang myth at ilan po ang fact na nilagay nyo sa score sheet ninyo?
The
Okay.
total pa nila, sir, sa ngayon. Yan, we have Sir Carlito Balatay, 10. 50-50 from Landy Arlan.
From
Five.
Flor, 5 fact, 5 myth. From Melchor, it's from Anne, all myth. From Maricar, 7 myth, 3 facts. Angelica Hillis, 5 facts, 5 myths. Paula or Regine said 6 myth. Okay, Julius said 6 facts, 4 myth. Medyo naglalaro, medyo safe ang mga answers, coach, na? Medyo safe ang
Okay.
answers.
Okay. Isa-isahin po natin. Isa-isahin po natin sila, ha? Lahat po na nakikita nyo sa screen niyo, lahat po yan ay myth. So, sumagot po ng 10 out of 10 na yung nakikita nila sa screen ay myth. sila po yung tama. Explain po natin. Number one, during the recruitment process, women have a legal duty to reveal that they are pregnant. Hindi po siya requirement. Under po ng Magna Carta Law for women in terms of labor, kailangan po, wala pong dapat discrimination sa pag-hire ng mga empleyado. Lalo na po sa mga kababaihan, hindi po sila required or mandated na magsabi kung buntis po sila o hindi. Now, may mga nagtatanong, Coach, paano namin malalaman ano kung di namin tatanungin, paano po kung yung trabaho gagawin nila ay strenuous at makakasama sa kanilang well-being kasi hindi naman nila declare na buntis sila. Diyan po papasok yung inyong pre-employment medical examination. Kasi sa pre-employment medical examination, malalaman nyo po based on the result kung pregnant po ang isang babae o hindi. Na basis on that, kung talagang hindi po pwede yung trabaho na ina-apply niya sa kanyang current condition, then you can say no. But again, there should never be any discrimination for people or for mothers who are pregnant. Okay? Number two, the contract of employment must be written form to be legally valid. Mali po yun. Lahat po ng kontrata, oral or written, ay legally valid. Kasi there are different types of contracts. Oral and written are admissible in court. Okay? Pag oral, kailangan nyo lang talagang mapatunayan na nangyari yon, na pag-usapan ninyo yun. Right? Probationary employees or terminated via just causes are not eligible for separation pay. They are eligible for separation pay, even though they are probationary employees. Pag-uusapan po natin yan mamaya. Last in, first out is a fair way to select employees for redundancy. Hindi lang po iyan. Kasi po, marami po tayong factors na po pwedeng gamitin sa pag-select employees na based on redundancy. At ang mga major factors po ay performance, economic situation, family situation, physical condition, age ng employee, and then tenure can also be used as a fair way of selecting employees for redundancy. Number 5, you must always suspend employees using preventive suspension. Hindi po ito po pwede na sabi po sa Philippine Labor Code, there are 2 distinct requirements for an employee to be put under preventive suspension. Ano po yung dalawang yun? The employee should be the employee would be harmful to himself and to his or her co-employees if he or she is allowed to work in the office, or the employee can influence the outcome of the investigation. Yun lang pong dalawang yon ang po pwedeng gawa ng preventive suspension. Maliban po doon, hindi nyo po dapat preventive suspension ng inyong employee. Now, reply on to the NTE should be within 48 hours and NOD should also be within 48 hours. Mali po, myth po yun. Kasi ang NTE, ang nagbigay po ng definition ng, kasi sa Philippine Labor Code, ang nakalagay po is kailangan ample time for the employee to provide his or her rebuttal. Yung ample time po na to, basis po sa Supreme Court, sinasabi po nila na it is 5 days sa NTE. Pero po sa Notice of Decision, wala po kayong mahahanap na sinasabi na ang Notice of Decision kailangan may time or may period of time. Kasi nakasalalay po ito kung gaano katagal matatapos yung investigation patungkol dun sa kaso. Pero alam po natin, di ba, meron tayong sinusunod justice delayed is justice denied. Pareho din po yan sa pagsasagawa ng mga labor or pag-hear ng labor cases sa loob ng kumpanya. A criminal case committed outside the work can be grounds for termination? No po. Kung ang criminal case ay hindi naman nagawa sa loob ng opisina, not in his or her working hours, hindi po siya dapat maging grounds for termination. The company has a right to suppress labor unions. Mali po yan. Kasi ang right to organize labor is under the Philippine Constitution. Ang number 9, only labor lawyers should handle any and all related cases of the company. Wala naman po nakasulat sa Philippine Labor Code na kailangan ay lawyers na mag-handle. Kailangan po ay may marunong na may marunong at may maalam na tao na po pwedeng mag-administer ng admin hearing. At normally, yan po ay yung mga people leaders, mga managers, kasama po ang HR. At ang result of an admin hearing can be shared to anyone in the company. Mali po yun. Ang result po ng admin hearing ay kailangan lang pong ibigay doon po sa taong may kaso. Yung tao pong nagsampa, hindi niya po dapat malaman kung ano ang resultang binigay ninyo doon sa taong may violation. Ulitin ko po ha, ang tanging tao lamang po na po pwedeng magkaroon ng kaalaman tungkol sa desisyon ng management regarding a particular case is yung tao mismo na involved. Yung taong nagsampa, halimbawa, co-employee, nagsampa siya ng kaso ng issue laban sa isang employee, hindi niya po dapat malaman. Yan po ay nasasaklawan na ngayon ng data privacy law. Okay? So those are everything that you're seeing there are labor myths. Now let's go ahead and check. Julene, okay pa ba yung mga tao, yung mga participants natin? Meron ba violent reaction? Meron ba silang mga comments?
Coach, actually may dalawang question na, but just like what you said, we'll reserve the question and answer portion towards the end of your presentation. So far we have 2 questions already.
Okay, good. Sige, let's move forward. Now, what are the touch points of employee labor relations? Ang nakita nyo po ngayon ay employee life cycle. Po ba? Sa lahat po ng HR, alam po natin na pag sinabi natin employee life cycle, yan po ang life cycle ng isang empleyado sa time na nagsosource kayo until the time that magsaseparate si employee, either retirement or termination or resignation. So, alin po ba yung mga touch points na normally maraming kaso or issue ang mga empleyado? Unang-una would be during talent acquisition. Alam niyo po ba na maraming nagsasampa ng issue or maraming nakaka-issue even the time na nire-recruit nyo sila o ino-onboard nyo sila. Bakit? Kasi hindi malinaw ang pagka-explain nyo sa kontrata. Kasi hindi maayos o hindi detalyado yung binigay yung job offer or employment contract. So, may ambiguity. And whenever there's ambiguity, there would be questions raised. And if these questions are not answered in writing for the benefit of the employee, then employee would have concerns and demoralization. Another thing would be during talent and development stage or talent engagement. This would normally happen for those people na matagal na sa kumpanya. Dahil napakatagal na nila sa kumpanya, alam na nila yung mga pasikot-sikot ng kumpanya na wala na silang nakikitang career growth. Wala na silang nakikitang movement sa kanilang career. Nagkakaroon na yan ng anxiety, nagkakaroon na yan ng, kumbaga, kung either very complacent sila or very unrestful sila kasi wala nga movement sa career nila. So, dyan nagkakaroon ng maraming problema. And lastly, employee exit. Paalis na nga sa empleyado. Wala naman siya kabalak-balak magsampa ng kaso sa kumpanya. Pero dahil during the offboarding process, during the exit process, sinisisi nyo pa si empleyado, inaaway nyo pa si empleyado, or hindi nyo pa pinapakitaan ng maganda si empleyado, nag-decide sila na magsampa ng kaso laban sa kumpanya. And I think this is very important to understand that this particular touch point has been proven that within this touch points, marami talagang mga labor issues and cases na dumarating. And it's our responsibility as an HR professional and as people leaders, as employers, na kailangan alamin natin ano ba yung mga issues na lumalabas during this particular touch points. Okay? Next is the introduction to the Philippine Labor Code. Alam niyo po, i-share ko lang po, nung na-found po natin ang Philippines HR Group at nagkaroon po tayo ng very first Philippines HR Group Summit. Ito po ay way back 2014. 2014, no, 2016 pala. 2016. Way back 2016. Yung isa sa pinaka first speakers natin ay walang iba kundi si Ginang Susan Ople, na siya po ay anak ng aking idol na si Blas Ople. Siya po ang tinatawag nating father of labor sa Pilipinas. Ang labor code ng Pilipinas ay panahon pa po ni dating Presidente Ferdinand Marcos. Ito po ay enacted nung Labor Day, May 1, 1974. So isipin niyo po ilang taon na po ba ang Labor Code ng Philippines since 1974 up to this year? Now, sa Philippine Labor Code, meron po yan dalawang bahagi. Yung una ay ang labor standards. When we say labor standards, this refers to the minimum terms and conditions of employment. Ano ba yung minimum requirement ng employment na kailangan ma-meet ng kumpanya? Yan po ang labor standards. Pag sinabing labor relations, yun yung interaction between the company and the employees or any of their representatives. Okay? So, kung wala pa po kayong labor, lalo sa mga HR, cardinal rule, kailangan pag HR ka, dapat meron kang labor code, or alam mo yung Philippine Labor Code by heart, at meron kang Philippine Labor Code book. Okay? Binabasa po yan, hindi po yan pan-display sa office. Okay? So, book 1 to book 4, makikita nyo po yung labor standards. Book 5 to book 7, nakasaad po dyan yung labor relations. Now, ano po ba ang legal framework ng labor relations sa Pilipinas? Meron pong tatlo. Yung workers' rights o karapatan ng empleyado, at nasasaklawan po yan ng security of tenure, self-organization, collective bargaining, just and humane conditions at work, ang karapatan na mag-strike or concerted actions, ang karapatan na mag-participate sa decision-making ng kumpanya, karapatan na makibahagi sa fruits of production ng kumpanya, at of course, matupad yung labor standards at yung collective bargaining agreement. Yan po yung workers' rights. Now, of course, yung labor law, nasasaad sa labor law kung ano yung dapat na compensation, ano yung dapat na benefits, ano yung kaampatang labor relations pagdating sa grievances, dialogue, strike, and voluntary arbitration, at ano po yung employment, ano po yung mga saklaw ng employment at termination of employment. Pangatlo po sa legal framework ay yung walang kamatayang management prerogative. Kasi again, it is enshrined in the Philippine Labor Code at nirespeto po ng concept ng Labor Code ang karapatan ng mga employers. And these are the right to hire, fire, transfer, promote, demote, lay off, lay down policies, discipline employees, provide working hours, and working procedures to their companies. So, ulitin po natin, legal framework, workers' rights, labor law, and management prerogative. Workers' rights,